Will you ride behind me? Will you ride behind me?
Good afternoon, good morning. I guess, is this thing on? Yeah, sorry. Welcome to the 15th annual Ride for Doug. Who would have thought that this would have been our second year in live stream? Last year, we all talked about how bad it was that we couldn't celebrate with a barbecue and how we'd make up for it with the 15th annual instead. I'm not going to make any future predictions, just in case. 15 years ago, we kicked off Ride for Doug with 17 motorcycles. Our pre-ride briefing was 35 minutes too long and came complete with a slideshow of the route. You humored me and stayed. We also had the most epic welcome video clip. 15 years later, it is still the best way to kick off a ride. I'm going to get Sarah and Annika to play it for us again.
Hello, it's Charlie and Ewan here, and we're in Malawi on our long way down trip from John O'Groats down to Cape Town. We got a lovely email from Cam who wants us to send his best to his son, Doug. And so we're doing that to say, have a great ride, all of you guys.
Okay, Doug, now I'm just going to show you my bike, okay? My bike is the Leopard, because I've got the leopard skin here. And it's a GS 1200 Adventurer, the new version, which was launched last year. And we've got the panniers where we keep all our camping gear on here, and we keep smashing them up. You see I've done lots of little dents here. Ewan's is a bit worse off than mine, so, but don't tell him I said that. He falls off a bit more than me as well, so don't tell him I said that either. And then I've got all our camping gear here, and my tent, and we've got a camera on top of the helmet here, and which we can record our set of what we're looking at and what we're saying. And got a GPS and a tank bag, and that's they're pretty amazing. They'll pretty much go anywhere. So the little bit of footage that we show you, you'll be able to see that as well.
I don't try and keep up with Charlie's wheelies. Charlie is the wheelie meister. And I do occasionally the little farty one, but it keeps me happy, and, you know, I don't try and compete because I don't want to break my neck. Whereas Charlie's very good at them. But one day I'll get better, you know. Anyway, we mustn't encourage people to wheelie only on private roads must we wheelie, not on public thoroughfares.
I hope you have a fantastic day.
Good luck, and well done. It's a great idea. Bye-bye.
I love that clip. We've had lots and lots of talk about little farty wheelies around our house for the last few years. Their first ride for Doug ended up in Tom and Catherine's backyard in Fort Langley. We celebrated raising a couple of $1,000 and had some very delicious watermelon. Our route was quite similar to the one we rode today. It did have the novelty near the end of riding the Albion Ferry back from Maple Ridge to Fort Langley. The whole group of bikes rode right up to the front of the lineup and took over half the ferry. The next year, we did the same thing, except with 35 bikes. We've grown since then, and as the years have passed, we've needed a larger and larger ferry. Fortunately, Carrie started the Vancouver Island Ride for Doug, and once again we got to take over a ferry. Here's a clip from 2016 on our way back from a great ride. Tonight, I'm going to try to make this as interactive as possible. If you're watching this live, you'll be able to take part in the YouTube chat feature. We encourage you to use the chat to ask questions, catch up with each other, and try to simulate the chat around the tables at the barbecue. Allison will be monitoring the chat while I do the talking. We're also going to be using a game called Kahoot. So at this time, we encourage you to get a second device, a phone, a laptop, a tablet, or something that you can use to open a web page while you keep watching the live stream on whichever screen you're using now. You don't need to install anything, but you will need to go to the website www.kahoot.it when it is time to play. To get things started, I'm going to offer a prize for the first person to tell a joke in the chat that makes Doug laugh. He will be the judge of this. Go. And I'll just leave a minute for this before we move to our next prize. I know I caught a lot of you by surprise here, but let's see what you've got. Sarah, who's there? I can't read this, actually. So, Doug, any? To who? Oh. All right, you know what? While Allison reads the chats to Doug, I'm going to go on and move on to our next prize, which is for the first registering rider. A long-standing tradition at Ride for Doug is rewarding the first registered rider. This is the rider who gets the ball rolling. We have a bit of a contest every year between contenders. And this year, the winner of the prize goes to somebody who went above and beyond. Normally, the winner signs up within the first 5 minutes of me announcing the registration was open. This year, however, the winner must have been watching the Ride for Doug website daily. They got in before I even had a chance to announce it. I had just turned it live so I could test it. And before I could even write my own registration in, they had registered. So in recognition of your April the 8th registration, Joy Marie, congratulations. An Esso gift card will be headed your way. And this is where I need an applause button. The silence just feels wrong. Hey, there we go. How are we doing on the jokes? Got a winner? No, just everybody else can see them. I just can't because I don't have the right glasses on.
Sarah got the first one that made us laugh.
Okay, so Sarah got the first one that made Doug laugh. So thank you, Sarah. Next up on our program is an update of the vehicle project, and I know you're going to like this. We began the quest for our long-term accessible vehicle back in the spring of 2018. We wanted something that not only fit our functional needs, but something that would fit our family's lifestyle, something that would retain the car guy's dignity while he loaded and unloaded. We narrowed our selection down to the brand new Chevy Traverse Bronability conversion. This was slated to launch in January of 2020, and thanks to our Ride for Doug fundraising, we were ready to make that decision. It allows Doug to ride either in the middle row or up front beside the driver. It has a power ramp and power doors, so Doug can load and unload himself without having to wait for somebody to get the door for him. He can anchor his power chair down and remain in there while driving, avoiding the risk of a fall during a transfer to a regular seat. Unfortunately, like everything else in 2020, COVID shut down production for the better part of a year, and the release was delayed until January 2021. So we used the 2020 Ride for Doug to get closer to our goal and continue to drive the old Dodge Caravan. You know you're dedicated to the ideal when you go through multiple summers with teenagers and no working air conditioning. January 2021 approached, and the bad news came out of the Bronability factory. The Canadian version of the conversion was having technical problems with the wiring, so January only saw the US release of the converted vehicle. Several more months passed, and there was still no news for Canada until Bronability changed their mind and decided to export US conversions to Canada. Typically, new cars purchased in the US do not have their warranty carry over into Canada in order to protect their markets. GM and Bronability then reached a deal to honor the warranty of the US converted Traverses in Canada. And this meant that we could buy one in the US and import it without giving up the factory warranty. Finally, a solution. Except for the run of 2021s had already been sold out. We would have to place an order for a 2022, and it might be here by Christmas. A couple of days before the May long weekend, I got a call from our dealer. He had managed to grab one of the remaining Traverses from the US, and he had it in his showroom and wanted to know if we wanted to see it. We were there the next morning. Sarah, you want to play the next video?
It taunts my tires. Could you be the one to hold me up when all is falling down? And I will ride down this old highway again if you're right behind me. Pavement and stone are too much on my own. Will you ride behind me? Will you ride behind me? Twist, turn, this road winds close, so hold on tight. Rain, storm, wind, I'll make it through with you. And I will ride down this old highway again if you'll ride behind me. Pavement and stone are too much on my own. Will you ride?
While we didn't get to choose the color or the options, they're close enough. It isn't even legally in Canada yet. It has to go all through the vehicle import process. But hopefully, within a week or two, it will be in our driveway. A shout out to Jay Lutz for shooting and editing on this video on such short notice. And another thank you to all of you who made this happen. Your fundraising, your moral support, for all of you who encouraged us to hang in there. Thank you. Clap, clap, clap. Oh, now that's fancy clap. Next up is our game of Kahoot. It's a time to get your second device ready for this question and answer game. For those of you who haven't played this before, it's a quiz show where the question is asked in the live stream screen and you use your second device to enter your answer. It's pretty simple. So you go to the website, www.kahoot.it, and enter the PIN number that you see on the screen. You'll be able to create a name, and I think we can get up to 10 people in, and there will be a prize for the top score in this game. So we'll just wait for a minute or two while people sign in. This is where I should have had other stuff going on, but so it looks like we've got 4 people in so far. I think we're playing for another Esso gift card because gas is always good. And I can tell you that the questions are going to be really, really hard. So whoever wins this is going to have to work for it. Or I'll accidentally turn my screen the wrong way for the answer key. Let's give it 2 more names. Okay. Is anybody else coming in? Okay, you know what? Let's get it started now, and we'll go on to the questions. I feel like there should be another drum roll. So the first question is, what is Doug's favorite day of the year? So you'll pick your question on your device and lock it in. Okay, so Doug's favorite day of the year is Ride for Doug Day. All right, so you see how this works? So let's move on to the next one. The next one's a little bit tougher. All right, the next question is, what is the largest number of riders that we have had at a Ride for Doug? Press red for 84, press blue for 95, orange for 103, or green for 113. Got 4 people locked in their answers. The correct answer is 113 was our top year. Our second biggest year was 103. So there's the leaderboard. Moving along. How many years has Ride for Doug been supporting MDC? I know what you're thinking. Is this a trick question or is this obvious? Let's see if you can get it right. The correct answer is 15 years. All right. There's 14 questions in total, so we're on question 4. Approximately how many muscles are there in the human body? This one's a little tougher. I don't know how many people have their biology degrees here. Okay. So red is 50, blue is 100, orange is 700, and green is 2,000. Oh, it's already over. Okay, I'll be faster next time. How many neuromuscular disorders does MDC support? Red is 10, blue is 50, orange is 100, green is more than 160. You can lock your answers in. People are getting it, 160 or more. Question 6. Next one is going to be a bit of a challenge, so this one will separate the sheep from the wolves. Which of the following does MDC not provide? Red, funding for research. Blue, free car washes. Orange, advocacy. Green, equipment funding. You lock in your answers now. There we go. Most of you seem to have gotten that one. A little shuffling on the leaderboard there. All right, question number 7. What awesome grad gift did Doug get last summer? Red, a 1970 Super Bee. Blue, a trip to Disney World. Orange, a 3-day motorcycle trip. Green, a new iPad. Lock in your answers now. It looks like most of you guessed Disney World, but instead he was on a 3-day motorcycle trip. How many miles did Doug and Cam ride that weekend? Red, 100 miles, or 160 kilometers. Blue, 500 miles, or 800 kilometers. Orange, 750 miles, or 1,200 kilometers. Or green, 1,000 miles, 1,600 kilometers. And the correct answer was actually 1,000 miles. It was a lot of riding that weekend. All right. Question number 9. How many bones did Doug break while we were on that trip? Red, 0. Blue, 1. Orange, 2. Green, 3. And let's see, lock in your answers. And the correct answer is 1. We only had 1 broken toe on that trip. And that was good. And it was my fault. All right, so which of the following cities did they not visit? Red, Pemberton. Blue, 100 Mile House. Orange, Merritt. Green, Kelowna. And the correct answer is orange, Merritt. We did a big circle around the outside of that. Okay, hold on. I got to get caught up here. Which of the following is not one of the reasons the Pennards chose the Chevrolet Traverse? Red, Doug can ride shotgun. Blue, good gas mileage. Orange, Doug can ride in the middle. Green, it looks good. So which one did they not select the Traverse? A tough one. The correct answer is blue, good gas mileage. Okay, moving along to question 12. What color should they get? This is going to be a little awkward. Red, black. Blue, Toyota Camry Champagne. Orange, Ford Windstar Seafoam. Green, Mary Kay Pink. So this one shouldn't be all that hard to answer unless you're a fan of bad paint colors from the 80s. Answer is black is the correct answer. All right, just a couple of questions left. Time to see if we can shake up the leaderboard a little bit more. What are Doug's first planned mods to the Traverse? Red, is he going to put winch and brush guards on? Blue, black out the chrome and add black wheels. Orange, drop a turbo on. Green, put a louder audio system in. I'm curious as to what everybody thinks about this one. And the correct answer is black out the chrome and add black wheels. We got one last question to go here. And this one might be for all the marbles. Which feature did Doug say he was looking forward to using the most? Red, functional horn and air conditioning. Blue, Bose audio system. Orange, side entry. Green, built-in USB chargers. So do we have answers being locked in here? And let's see who got this one right. Functional horn and air conditioning is correct. So I'm going to have to ask somebody else to read the leaderboard because I can't see that. Oh, is that Gilly coming in third? And Sarah something is second, and first place is Nikki, something with lots of E's. So there we have our prize winner for our second prize. That was a lot of fun. Now we're going to move to the next part of our program tonight, which is brought to you by MDC, Muscular Dystrophy Canada. And I would like to virtually introduce you to Devin Bailey from Muscular Dystrophy Canada. MDC has been a lifeline of support for our family as we've moved through the stages of Duchenne. We've decided to partner with MDC in the first Ride for Doug, and we have really benefited from this relationship for the past 15 years. I think Devin was going to check in during the live stream, so she might be on the chat if you have any questions right now. Following Devin, there will be an awareness video produced for MDC. It features a young man named Alex. It's about 2.5 minutes long, and depending on your personal circumstances, it can hit quite close to home. I think it's a powerful message, but if you feel you want to mute it and watch it later, I understand. The live stream will be available long after we shut down for the day. And when you see me coming back on the screen following the video, you can unmute and carry on. But first we'll start with Devin. Sarah?
Welcome everyone to the 15th annual Ride for Doug event. Hope you're all feeling great after today's ride. My name is Devin Bailey and I am the Manager of Development and Community Engagement for Western Canada here at Muscular Dystrophy Canada. Our organization's mission is to enhance the lives of those impacted with a neuromuscular disorder by continually working to provide ongoing support and resources while relentlessly searching for a cure through well-funded research. As you can imagine, the pandemic had significant impact on our organization and those we serve. In order for us to have navigated 2020, MDC had to pivot and adapt how we provided our programs and services and amplify our advocacy efforts for a neuromuscular disorder population. A quick snapshot. So in 2020, we went virtual and had over 6,000 interactions through our virtual webinar series and Let's Connect network meetings. Here in British Columbia alone, we had over 100 newly registered clients, over 270 equipment requests, and we funded over 175 equipment applications. Muscular Dystrophy Canada is committed to the promise of finding cures and improving the quality of life for Canadians affected by neuromuscular disorders. Because of incredible donors, MDC is able to invest in innovative research studies led by exceptional clinicians and scientists. In the past 5 years alone, collaboration by scientists, healthcare professionals, and persons affected by neuromuscular disorders has supported tremendous progress in research and clinical care. To date, we have invested over $6 million towards research. $3 million of that has gone specifically directly to Duchenne's muscular dystrophy research. In the first year of the MDC Research Hotline, we received over 1,900 questions. We also led our first study to answer these questions on the cost of living with DMD and its impact on quality of life. MDC has also supported a clinical trial on bone health. Most recently, we shared that first gene therapy for DMD has officially started in Canada. MDC has held over 40 webinars, including one called The Current State of DMD in Canada. We're hosting a conference to improve standards of care for DMD in the coming weeks with some of our partner organizations. None of this would be possible without the generous support of donors and participants like you and events held across Canada like the Ride for Doug that bring awareness and critical funds to Muscular Dystrophy Canada. Over the past 15 years, you have all collectively raised over $270,000 to support our efforts. I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to each and every one of you, current and past riders to the event, the countless volunteers, and of course, the Penner family. Doug, life is a highway. Enjoy your new ride.
I rely on my family for most of what I do every day. I used to be able to do things like rolling over in bed or even something simple as scratching my head, but those are very hard for me now. Some muscular dystrophies are confined to one part of the body, legs, arms, that sort of thing, but Duchenne does affect everything, including the heart and lungs, which is ultimately what is fatal about it. The gradual loss of ability is certainly, I would think, the biggest effect and the hardest one to deal with, because it does get frustrating when even I know to expect that my arms, my legs, my chest will get weaker. It still hits you whenever it does decide to show up, because it can be one day good, next day, that's it for that. At some point, without intervention of a new treatment or cure, it will bring about my end. For someone who's recently diagnosed, I certainly would tell them that it's okay to grieve, but there's no point in thinking that your life is ruined because of it. And I'm sure my mom and dad always thought that their son would go to university, and sure enough, you know, it took a lot of work to get there, and certainly it wasn't easy, but it does and can happen. Looking forward to graduating university in the spring of 2020. I still can't believe I'm saying that. The cost of these new treatments and trials is astronomical at times. And certainly every dollar we raise is $1 more that we can put toward research. If I can help one more person know what muscular dystrophy is, you know, that's one more person in the fight. My name is Alex, and I call it Duchenne.
Duchenne muscular dystrophy changes perspective. Back when our kids were little, I started taking them on motorcycle rides. I was frequently asked why we didn't wait longer. Tomorrow is never a guarantee for any of us, but for those with DMD, it's a bit more in your face. So instead of parenting with bubble wrap, we make a conscious effort to seize the day. We drive a sports car, not because the manual chair fits in the trunk easily, but because easy isn't always better. We take the whole family on motorcycle. It's not easy, but it's living. Not just breathing in and out, living. Accessible SUV, worth the wait and the extra effort. Taking a kid who uses a wheelchair for a daily living on a motorcycle road trip, lots of extra preparation when booking things, but worth it. The next clip I'm going to show brings home this feeling. It's from the 2015 Vancouver Motorcycle Show. Yamaha had set up a riding academy where kids could gear up in borrowed gear and get on dirt bikes. A couple of instructors would teach the kids how to ride on a closed course, and while we were at the show, While we were at the show, the entire team of instructors volunteered to teach Doug to ride. They got him geared up and on the motorcycle as a driver for the first and only time. Within 10 minutes of climbing on and starting to ride, we were making the decision of whether or not to keep a safety hand on his seat or not. He was that good. Seize the day. Do what you can when you can. Sarah?
Take lots in a row and then it's like a video, right?
There we go. That's not too shabby for somebody who never had the opportunity to ride a bicycle. One part of the ride for Doug I always wished I could share at the barbecue is the feelings of being on the ride itself. Riding a motorcycle is such a visceral experience to begin with. Riding at a charity ride for your cause creates an emotional bond to the road. I asked a couple of riders to try to capture a few sections of road today. I was going to explain what was going through my mind at these points of the ride. We'll see if this works. It's a bit of a gamble to see if all this tech comes together. It was a rather wet day, and so electronic devices were a bit dodgy. So clip number 1 is going to show the line of motorcycles riding past somebody at the side of the road, and just the feeling of a never-ending line of support behind you. So let's roll that one. It's like a big, long, moving chain of support. The next clip, I think, illustrates the emotion I feel when I'm going into a new area of life where we're about to go from some uncertain times up some emotional hills. Let's see what... we're going from the rough life that we know to a bit of an unknown. There's some blind corners and some hills. And so let's roll the first clip for that. The next little bit is another perspective of that same corner. It's more of the person being in it, going through that next challenge in life. Let's roll that.
Oh, good one.
Now, it's unfortunate we couldn't catch it, but if you were to look just a little bit more to your left, you would have seen that whole line of support, of that chain of bikes following me, bringing us that feeling of not being alone. And then the last two are just some random segments of the ride that illustrate the feeling of going through life's journey with the chances of somebody pulling out in front of you at any time, or the uncertainty of what's around the next corner. And I think these next two clips do a great job of showing those. So I have no idea if that worked, but I was trying to figure out a way to bring that feeling to those of you who don't have the motorcycle to bring with us. So, yeah, it looks like that brings us to the point in time where we talk about the results of the ride. And wow. Ride for Doug has always been about support first, statistics second. Every rider who comes out, especially those who came out in the rain, especially like I get a special feeling of support from anybody who brings rain gear to a charity ride. That's impressive. So every rider who comes in has a bigger impact on our families' lives than you realize. I keep saying it year after year because it's true. Knowing how many friends have our back makes the journey a little easier. Now, funds raised do that too. Because of the money you raise today, an SUV will be in our driveway for the summer. MDC can help fund a wheelchair upgrade for another family. Today's dollar might be the one that kicks off the research that finds the cure. Think about that. The dollars we raise today might be the seed money for a world without Duchenne. I'm pretty proud to be a part of that. Now to the numbers. Today we raised $14,600 for Muscular Dystrophy Canada and another $14,700 for our special projects for an event total of $29,400. Wow. And that's, yeah, I don't know what to say about that. That's kind of speechless there. I do want to give a special shout out this year to the Mavericks. Not only are they always in the hunt for the first registered rider, they are consistently the first registered on the fundraising page for Muscular Dystrophy Canada. And this year, their team alone raised over $2,000 for MDC. So let's give them a little hand too. Ride for Doug supporters are the best in the world. So are the Ride for Doug volunteers. And from the lot volunteers to our live stream team, we could not do this without you. So I would give another hand for that if you'd be okay. There's the one I'm looking for. I need that button up here. So you've heard a lot of me talking, and I guess, oh well, but you can't do much about it because only Sarah has the controls. So you can, yeah. Anyhow, Ride for Doug is an opportunity for our family to share a slice of living with a neuromuscular let me try that again. Ride for Doug is an opportunity for our family to share a slice of what living with a neuromuscular disease is like. We get to update you on what has been happening in our life and hopefully make it easier for you to relate to others in your circle of friends who may face similar challenges. These past 12 months have been a real challenge. I'm not going to lie. This really has been a gap year in many different ways. COVID-19 has ripped apart the best laid plans of many people, especially those graduating from high school. Confusion and delay everywhere. For Doug, there were some real medical risks with COVID. Doug is both immunosuppressed and he has pre-existing respiratory conditions. That means that if he were to contract the virus, it would almost certainly guarantee a hospital stay. He would be in one of the highest risk groups for some very absolute negative outcomes. Now, don't misunderstand. I'm not saying that we spent the year in fear. We didn't. But we had to implement a more stringent lifestyle than the rest of the population in order to manage the risk responsibly. While others enjoyed their safe six and their bubbles, we operated most of the year on a system more representative of what BC did this April. No meeting anyone out of our household. No indoor activities, shopping, or dining out of any kind. Additionally, most of the supports for respite care and even home health care and physiotherapy were paused for long periods of time. This further reduced the interaction that we've had with the outside world for the last 12 months. And these programs that continued trended towards Zoom and other web conferencing. It just isn't the same quality of care when the physiotherapist is on the other end of a Zoom call, one parent holding the camera up for the best angle, and the other parent trying to stretch Doug's legs properly. We did save a lot of time formerly spent driving to appointments, though. There are some upsides to this. The entire world has learned how to use technology for online meetings. I can see some significant advantages to seeing some of your doctors on a video appointment some of the time. Other times, there really is no substitute for an in-person visit. This is also the year that we are to transition from adolescent care system to the adult care system. Doug got a whole long list of new specialists to replace his old ones. We were supposed to meet with them and get to know them and start meeting them in their offices all over the Lower Mainland instead of centralized at Children's Hospital. Instead, I think we've met with maybe a third of them, and all virtually. It's really hard to get to know someone for the first time over a video call. It's a little frustrating. Now, don't get me wrong, there were some highlights that we took advantage of. Being outside and keeping our family group fit perfectly with our annual trip to Parksville for camping. We once again pushed the boundaries of accessibilities with the trips to the beach and navigating the uneven grounds of the Coombs Marketplace. Every year we camp, I talk about getting t-shirts made that say "Dads," making the inaccessible accessible since 2002, probably sponsored by Advil. Summer held other highlights, like the day the van had a brake failure 5 minutes after Doug and his respite guy pulled off the freeway. Apparently the exhaust had melted the brake line and his foot just went to the floor while spraying brake fluid all over the shoulder they had just stopped on. It's not just the AC and the horn we're looking forward to having. It will be good to have a check engine light that's not on, and the intermittent airbag and ABS warning lights we can do without too. For Doug's grad gift, the two of us took a motorcycle road trip. We took Allison's Can-Am and spent 3 days on the road. Now get your mental map out. Whistler, Pemberton, Lillooet, Lytton, 100 Mile House for day one. We'd arranged a hotel with a parking spot 5 meters from a side door to the room. Unfortunately, a poor transfer on my part led to a broken toe on Doug's part. After our long day on the road, we really were too tired to even ice it up. Yep, that's purple. Oh well. Day 2, we took Highway 24 east and then down to Kamloops, Falkland, Salmon Arm, and Kelowna for day 2. This time we used an office chair from the hotel room to roll to and from the bike. The hotel's description of "the room is near the entrance" was a little bit more ambitious than we wanted to try. So after that busy day 2, our last day we left Kelowna, went via Highway 33 to Rock Creek, Osoyoos, Princeton, Hope, Agassiz, Mission, before ending up at home. 19 hours of riding and 1,000 miles. Much of the last day in the upper 30-degree heat. Memories are funny things. Out in the heat for all those miles, swollen foot, dust, limited ability to adjust seating, and the takeaway was good. Motorcycles are a great way to seize the day. Thank you all for joining us on the live stream. I hope I've not bored you to death. For those of you who are thinking of making the Vancouver Island ride for Doug, watch our website and Facebook page for more details as public health orders are clarified. I'm going to try to stay in the chat for a bit if anybody wants to catch up, and I'd like to see what's been going on. I think I see Kerry's name in the chat. He can fill in more details for what's happening on the Vancouver Island ride for Doug. September. Excellent. I think there will be a September this year. So thank you very much for your time, and ride safe and dry out your gear.
Love, this concrete's cracked, it taunts my tires. Could you be the one to hold me up when all is falling down? Right behind me, pavement and stone are too much on my own. Will you ride behind me? Will you ride behind me? Twist, turn, this road winds close, so hold on tight. Rain, storm, wind, now